Time for the 49ers Rush podcast.
At number 70 on the 49ers Rush countdown, maybe the NFL's biggest journeyman. And what I mean by that is over 100 plus transactions. I stopped counting. Ty McGill, the defensive tackle out of NC State, who, man, I went back and looked at the rosters that he was on. He was on the team with the Barnacle, Dante Johnson, in college at NC State, the Wolfpack, and he's just bounced all over the league, Ty McGill. He's 31 years old, entering into his 9th NFL season and his second year with the 49ers. Now, he comes in number 70 this year. Last year, 2023's countdown, he came in number 58. And so he's fallen down a little bit. He didn't get activated near as much, and the time that he did have, you remember he came in at the back end of 2022 whenever we had all those defensive tackle injuries and kind of spelled down the line. They kept him for 2023, and he just didn't get activated near as much. Only 2 game appearances last year, and a lot of that, the bringing in Hargrave, having Armstead, all those things. What's it going to look like for TY this year? The defensive tackle depth chart room, completely different. All new faces. You only got like 3 guys back, and that's Ty McGill, Kalia Davis, and Javon Hargrave. So what to expect from that room, I don't know. But let's detail Ty McGill's career, and let's break down kind of where he fits exactly and why the 49ers continue to be a team that loves these veteran guys at the back end of their roster groups. He wears jersey number 96 for the 49ers. He's 6', 295. There's 2 separate defensive tackles that the Niners like to get. That kind of 6', 300-pound guy, and then your big, bulky Javon Kinlaw, DJ Jones, these bigger defensive. Evan Anderson fits into that, undrafted free agent this year. These just run plug stoppers, Earl Mitchell guys. Ty McGill, he's that smaller pass rush upside, versatile slasher type defensive tackle. Ran a 4.9 40 at his pro day, had a 7 flat 3-cone. Incredible. I mean, that's Debo Samuel type time, change of direction. And the smaller, hyper athletic, that's kind of what he brings, 25 bench press reps, but he's entering into his 9th season. So you have to be very honest with, probably some of the athleticism and testing and speed and explosiveness has dissipated, but the veteran savvy technique has kind of taken over, and that's why he's been able to stay in this league for so long. Went back and watched some film, and it's just like his hands are good, his leverage good, consistency over explosiveness is what kept jumping off the tape. Now, if we look at Ty McGill, came out of Georgia, Jessup, just southwest of Savannah at Wayne County High School, was a 2-star recruit. But if you look at his time in high school, captain of the football team, captain of the basketball team, all-region selection as a junior and a senior, all kinds of craziness. And then whenever he goes to NC State, part of some really good teams. I think one of the years I counted 8 NFL players came off that NC State team. Really hasn't kept up with where they used to be. The college didn't. Was a 2-star recruit, didn't get invited to the combine, but at his pro day, really performed well. Still didn't get drafted. Was an undrafted free agent, and this is where the journeyman story begins. He was with the Colts for a year and a half. He was with the Browns for a year. He was with the Eagles off and on for 3 separate years. And whenever he was with the Eagles, he was also on the team with Hargrave and Hassan Ridgeway, right? See that? He's with the Chargers for 2 years, but not during Brandon Staley's tenure. He was with the Vikings and then with the Niners. This dude has just bounced around everywhere. Now, if we look at just what he accomplished last year, okay, he's only been a spot defender. He's never had more than 302 snaps ever in a single season, and that was in 2016 with the Colts. So you're talking a long time ago. That was 8 years ago. Now, you look at what he did last year for the 49ers, his scores, they're terrible. 33 overall grade, awful. 30 run defense grade, awful. But 57.4 pass rush. That's pretty close to NFL average. And if you're getting somebody on the back end of your roster that might be elevated for a couple games, Pass rush is why he's still in the NFL. He never had the height and weight to be the anchor. That's not what he is. He goes and gets a duo team, he's going to get destroyed. And he's kind of a, break glass in case of emergency defensive tackle as is. But the reason why he's able to hang around and all these teams keep giving him more and more opportunities, it's pass rush. Probably his best trait is quarterback hits. You look at his entire career stats, 45 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. That's impressive. 24 quarterback hits. That's his staple. Affects the quarterback, hits the quarterback. And, if you look across NFL defensive tackle groups, if you have any type of pass rushing upside that is consistent, then you're going to be on an NFL team. And thus, Ty McGill comes in number 70 for us. Last season, guess what? 2 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, 1 forced fumble. So, if you're not going to get that many plays, you got to make it count. 2022, he had 216 snaps with us, which was one of the most he ever had. 2 quarterback hits, 9 hurries, but then had an ankle injury. Now, the 49ers signed him this year to a 1-year, $1.2 million deal, 0 guaranteed, which is rough for a veteran. Kind of tells you where he is. He's on the back end of this. Probably not going to make the 53. Probably going to have to be elevated. Best case scenario if he wants to play. Now, if you look at his career earnings, 100-plus transactions, $4.9 million career earnings. Not the most money, but, hey, this dude's scrapping it out. He's playing 57 career games, never started a single game, and let's look at the depth chart. The 49ers usually keep 5 to 6 defensive tackles on their initial 53. Well, I got 4 locks. Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott, Kevin Givens, one of the longest tenured 49ers left on this team. Then it's they've already cut Raymond Johnson III, so now you've got these 5 guys on the back end of this roster fighting for 1, maybe 2 spots in a practice squad spot. So Kalia Davis, T.Y. McGill, Evan Anderson, Alex Barrett, Shaquille Brown. Shaquille Brown, Evan Anderson are the young pups with a lot of upside. You got Alex Barrett, who's kind of a career T.Y. McGill, just a little bit lower. And then you got Kalia Davis, who I think the 49ers want to put on this roster, but he's got to show something. He didn't end well and got injured. His season was pretty bad last year. T.Y. McGill, definitely the most solid of that, second-tier guys. But can he make this roster? We'll see. I want to say credit to Josh, Oscar, Dave, Zach for helping with this entire series. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.